maybe serve it to me, you know, with a cherry in a Manhattan in a nice dainty little glass.
Maraschino cherry, that's when we'll really pick it.
You know, I think you might get a different answer.
So hi and welcome back to Slurp or Skip. We have James Beeson back for another episode. Thank you so much for joining us.
Delighted to be here and looking forward to tasting some really interesting booze we've got in front of us on the table.
We're going to start with the very interesting collaboration that we've got between Brewdog and Mackey's. So this is 2 Scoops Honeycomb Ice Cream Stout.
Okay.
Had an ice cream stout before?
I don't know if I've had an ice cream stout before. I've definitely had, I think, you know, there is a trend within craft beer towards slightly sweeter, I guess what you would term pastry stouts. You know, with someone like a Brewdog, obviously, I think in their early days, they used to collaborate quite a lot with lots of different fellow craft breweries.
Yeah.
And as the brand has become more and more established and more into the mainstream, they've kind of moved more towards, you know, collaborating with other well-known FMCG brands. Mackey's is another Scottish brand, so I think that's a nice tie together for them as well. It fits quite nicely in that sense. And obviously I think it's about, I guess, bringing more consumers, creating that interest and excitement around the category. I'm getting loads of honeycomb on the nose.
Yeah, really strong on the nose.
I really did expect it to be sweeter. Actually, there's still quite a lot of that roasted malt character that you would typically associate with like a more traditional stout, like a Guinness.
I think because it's naturally quite bitter, you know, a mouthfeel stout is, so then actually when you've got that sweetness of the ice cream.
It's certainly like your solo drink of the evening on a night in.
Yes, yeah, very much.
I don't think you're not going to be taking a load of those to pre-drinks.
No, unless everyone's going to sleep afterwards. Yeah, pretty cool innovation.
It's a slurp for me.
It's a slurp for you?
Yeah.
First slurp of our series, I think.
How about you?
I think unfortunately it's a skip for me, only because it's not something I would naturally gravitate towards, unlike these boys here. So this is when the fun really starts for me, hopefully for you as well.
I've been having a great time already.
Okay, good. So next up we have Chivas Regal, the Crystal Gold. And I know we have spoken about this quite a lot together. Super interesting, because this is, I mean, you've got far more intel on this than I have, but this is the brand's first clear spirit. Talk to us about this, because you went to the launch event where you were blindfolded and tried it without actually knowing what it was.
Yeah, so this won't be my first time tasting this. Aim of the game here is to bring a brand like Chivas into a early evening, higher tempo occasion, the occasion that where you're seeing obviously spritzes do really well, you're seeing products like tequila do really well, and I think that, you know, clearly the name Crystal Gold is an allusion to Cristalino, which is a type of aged tequila that has its colour filtered out. Anyway, should we taste it?
Yeah, I actually had a little sip already. That's really nice and actually very smooth. I could easily drink that neat. So who do you think is buying this then? Or like, who is the target market? Because it feels like it is straddling the two camps of being that kind of, you know, tequila, vodka, gin, white spirit, and the kind of history and the heritage of whiskey.
Yeah, for them to be successful, it's probably going to need to, they're going to really need to seed the brand with mixologists. They're going to got to get bartenders really excited about this product.
Yeah.
And you know, really push it hard in the on-trade, and then I think, you know, hope that maybe you can convert consumers to maybe pick a bottle.
And is the spritz the way that they're going to do that? So almost inviting people to try it through the spritz, and then they'd be more likely to buy that, having tried it already.
Yeah, so I think the hero serve is a spritz, either with soda water or champagne. And I think it's just great to see a Scotch whisky brand do something a little bit innovative, a little bit different, try and break out from that sort of slightly stuffy heritage mould that Scotch whisky sits within.
As a woman whiskey drinker, I think I'm all for championing, you know, more people getting into whiskey. Yeah, slurp for me, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's a slurp for me as well.
Yeah. Next up, we have East London Liquor Company's blended whiskey. Now, this is predominantly Scotch whisky from Loch Lomond with a little bit of whiskey from its own.
Yeah, so correct? I think it's about a 70-30 split.
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, East London Liquor Co. They have partnered with Loch Lomond Distillery, and then they've created a blended whiskey, their first blended whiskey. It's meant to be accessible, easy drinking, and I think that that's why, you know, it's, if we look at what's in there, it's not heavily peated. It's got some peated whiskey in there. There's a little bit of rye in there as well.
Yes, whiskey that lives on tables, not on trophy cases, and I think that's really nice in terms of, you know, the messaging around not just storing these wonderful whiskies away and actually enjoying them, you know, in the moment. That's really nice. I'm getting quite a smooth, but then little moments of the peat in it. And, you know, I'm quite into peated whiskey now, only recently in the last sort of couple of years or so.
I think they're trying to, you know, make something that is approachable, but that has something that will interest the more seasoned whiskey drinker.
Yes, exactly.
And keep them engaged with the brand. It's another slurp for me.
Yeah, so it's very easy to slurp.
Yeah, maybe
it's
too easy. Maybe too easy for a whiskey.
I could easily see that on my drinks trolley at home. Last but not least, we have Johnnie Walker Black Ruby, so another blended Scotch whiskey. I am very excited to try this because, having read on the side, so this is matured in PX and Oloroso, seasoned red wine casks and bourbon casks for deep, rich fruit notes. So it's making me think whiskey, maybe a little bit port, a little bit red wine, and it's all of the things that I absolutely love.
We're seeing right across beer, wines and spirits, we're seeing a trend towards younger consumers preferring a slightly sweeter taste profile.
Absolutely.
And so I think it is playing into that, but it's also really playing into the idea that dark spirits like whiskey can still work really well in mixology and cocktails. I think that people are, particularly with Scotch whiskey, quite frightened a lot of the time to put a Scotch whiskey in a cocktail.
Yes. Why do you think that is? Is it because people don't understand enough about...
Yeah, and I think that obviously the taste profile of Scotch whiskey, even if it isn't a peated whiskey, people can sometimes just taste it. If you don't drink a lot of Scotch whiskey, you taste it and you go, oh, it's smoky. What Johnnie Walker is trying to do here is obviously they're trying to kind of really say, look, this is a product that you can put in a cocktail, you can put it in a Manhattan, you can put it in an old fashioned or in a Negroni, and you know, you're going to enjoy it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That's nice. I was expecting a little bit more of the, you know, the notes I just read out, or sorry, read. Figs, plums, maraschino, cherries.
Yeah.
I don't get a whole load of that. It's a little bit more subtle, possibly because we've been tasting a lot of other things at the same time. For something like this, I probably would look elsewhere. That's not to say it's very delicious.
I want to try it in a Manhattan.
Okay.
I think that's, if you have to ask me now, it's a skip.
Yeah.
Maybe serve it to me, you know, with a cherry in a Manhattan, in a nice dainty little glass.
Maraschino cherry, that's when we'll really pick it.
You know, I think you might get a different answer, but for now, I'm also going to skip on this one.
Okay, well, we're going to have some Manhattans separate to this episode, and then we will follow up and we'll let you know whether it's a change of decision. Thank you so much, James. Really interesting comments. And yeah, we'll catch us next time for another episode of Slurp or Skip.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.